In today's episode, we are talking about passive suicide prevention. Yes, I said passive. For everyone whose blood pressure spikes at the thought of talking to someone who is suicidal, this episode is for you. Welcome to the Suicide Prevention Lady podcast, where we make intervention easy. I am your host, Dr. Ricky Turner, and I am a suicide prevention expert. Please take note. I am the thinky kind of doctor. I am not the medical kind of doctor. So please do not take anything in this podcast as medical advice. All right. So this is another one of my favorite type of intervention strategies. And the reason is because you can do it in your everyday life, never speaking to anybody, never having done anything particularly uncomfortable. There's lots of different ways to do this, so let's get cracking. Now, I have a lot of stories that go along with this, right? Because, like I said, this is something that I do. I try to do it as much as possible in different ways. Obviously, I post a lot about suicide prevention, and so people see me as a safe person to talk to about whatever's going on in their lives, or when they're dealing with other people who are suicidal in their lives. I get a lot of people, just even in my everyday circle, not on TikTok or YouTube or whatever, but just in my personal life. A lot of people will reach out to me because of this. And the reason is because I'm vocal about it. Well, newsflash. Being vocal about suicide prevention is suicide prevention. And that doesn't mean that I have to ever talk to anybody about it. I don't have to interact with somebody who is actively suicidal necessarily. Now, I do, because I'm not one to shy away from something like that. But it's not for everybody. And I get people all the time who are they're shy, a timid person. They're deathly afraid that they're going to say something that is wrong or makes everything worse, but they still want to be a part of the solution. And this is where this comes in. So what are some ways that you can be passively preventing suicide? Well, one is to make social media posts, not to name drop here or to get a little needy, but one way of doing that is sharing episodes of my podcast, or sharing TikToks that I make, or whatever. Posting those on social media, or your favorite creator, or other things. Making a post about, hey, did you guys know about 988, which is the National Suicide Prevention Hotline? You can text it and you can call. It's like the 911, like your traditional emergencies. 988 is now the suicide hotline number. So you no longer have to Google this long 1-800 number. Well, a lot of people still don't know about that. You could make a post about that. Putting it out into the world that you are a safe person, and that putting these resources out there, you never know who's going to see that post and be like, that's the sign. I really need to reach out for help. And this is what I really want to drive home is there are so many people who are suicidal, and they are asking the universe or God or whoever it is, a higher power. They are asking them, just give me a reason to stay. Give me a sign that I need to stay, that this is going to get better. And then they go out in the world, and sometimes they're not seeing anything, but other times they're seeing that post, or you wearing that shirt. I'm going to stand up here for a second and show you what I'm wearing right now. This is a shirt that is for sale on my website. I don't really make very much money off of these, if anything at all, once it's all said and done, but it's just a suicide prevention strategy, right? Your story isn't over, and it's got the semicolon, which is a kind of universal sign for keep going, keep fighting the fight, right? And I have more on my website if that's something that you're interested in, but I have some stories here And this has happened to me a few times. So story number 1, I was not wearing this shirt. I was wearing a different shirt, honestly. I can't even remember. It wasn't even suicide related. It was just sort of motivational in a way. I cannot remember what it said. And there's a reason I can't remember it because I don't have the shirt anymore, and I'll tell you why. So I'm wearing this shirt, and it's important to note here too, because I 100% believe that the universe uses us to send to be signs for other people, and that everything kind of works out for a reason, right? So if you know me in person or you have interacted with me on social media or anything, I dare you to find one video of me wearing a long sleeve shirt underneath a t-shirt. I don't do it. Namely because I'm a hot person in a lot of ways. I'm a hot natured person in general. So I don't like that many layers. I don't like to feel constricted. I've just got weird texture issues. And so I just don't typically do that. For whatever reason, this day, I was working from home that day, and sometimes my brain turns off whenever I'm working from home. And I have to have a change of scenery in order to get myself out of it. So that day that happened, and I put on a long sleeve white t-shirt, like a fitted one, and then at this blue t-shirt over it, and I can't remember what it said, but it had some sort of motivational something on it, but it wasn't necessarily suicide related. Anyway, I walk in, I go to order my stuff, and I go and I sit down in the only open chair in the whole coffee shop. Now I sat down and I'm waiting on my drink to be delivered, and I get out my computer and I'm starting to type, and the lady next to me leans over and she's like, "I love your shirt." And I was like, "Oh, thanks." And she was like, "No, you don't understand. Like, when you walked in, I noticed your shirt. I was over here praying that God send me a sign that I'm doing the right thing and that I'm on the right path, and that this means something, that my life means something." And I was like, "Oh, okay." And she was like, "And then I saw, like, you walked in and the first thing I noticed was what your shirt said." And I was like, "Oh my gosh." Well, I mean, I was honored, right? Like that, what a beautiful moment to be able to be a part of. And so I was like, "Wow, thank you so much for sharing that with me." And we got to talking, and she started telling me like her life story and the hard things that she had been going through, and she's just trying so hard and it doesn't seem like it's paying off, and she just didn't know if this is really where she needed to be. And things were just hard for her, but she needed that sign from the universe. She needed that encouragement, and she got it from my t-shirt. And so we were talking, my coffee had come. I was obviously not working, but this was more important. And so I just got the strongest urge to give her my t-shirt. And people always talk about others, and they're like, "Oh, there's just the salt of the earth people give you the shirt right off their back." Well, I did. Literally took off my shirt in this thing. I said, "This is going to be so weird. Would you like the shirt?" And she was like, "What? No, 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 no. You don't have to do that." And I was like, "I'm getting the strongest urge to give you this shirt." And she was like, "Oh my God, that's so sweet of you." And I was like, "Okay." And here you go. And I gave her that shirt. And I was like, "So you don't have to look to the universe anymore to give you the sign. You have it with you. So you can just pull this out and remind yourself that, hey, your God is faithful and showed you the sign as you were praying for it. And so here you go." And so that was one really cool moment. Now, did she openly say, "Hey, I'm thinking about exiting life"? No, she did not. But in that moment, it was something that she was just begging the universe for a sign. And I walked in and I gave her that sign. And it's so beautiful to be a part of. Now, another one where I was not as gracious. I was wearing this shirt, or one similar, like might have been an earlier prototype, because at first I tried to like stay on brand, and I realized I don't really care about brand. So I made one more attractive. So this one was like an Arial font or something. Anyway, I was at home. I was wearing it to bed and I was getting ready for bed. And my son, as children do, said at like 9 o'clock at night, which FYI, I turn into a pumpkin at 8 p.m. on the dot. I don't want to go anywhere. If it's after 8 p.m., I'm not interested. Okay. That includes going to get food, going to get groceries, going to get school supplies. Parents see where I'm going. So my son lets me know he needs a poster board or something for a project that is due tomorrow in class. And I was like, you've got to be kidding me, child. And so, as we do, bailed him out. I could have let him just like, you should have told me that beforehand. I figure it out. But I was like, okay, fine. I will go to the store. So I am walking into the Walmart in Bryant, Arkansas, and I'm wearing this shirt, this equivalent shirt where it had a semicolon with the sun, and it says, "Your story isn't over." Anyway, I'm walking in. It is 9:30 at night at this point. I don't know. I am beyond done with the day. I am not there to socialize. I don't want to talk to anybody, including the people in my household. That's how cranky I was. So I'm walking in. I am walking super speedy fast. I'm not in the mood to talk to anybody. So imagine my surprise when someone sees me and they say, "Oh, I love your shirt." And I'm still like, I'm trying to walk. And I was like, "Oh, thank you so much." And they're like, "Wow, like I really love your shirt." And I was like, "Thank you so much." And I still am trying to walk away. And she was like, "It's been so hard." And I knew immediately that I had to get all the way over myself and engage with this person, even though I was not in the place for it, because it had awakened something in them. And I was having a genuine human connection with somebody, which those are so rare, especially out in the wild, right? So she says, "It's just been so hard lately." And I was like, "Tell me more." And she immediately started opening up about how she struggled with it in the past and she thought she was over it. And here lately it's been coming up. And again, she talks about, and I just wanted a sign that I needed to stay and that I could do it again. And then I saw your shirt. And so I really like it. I really like your shirt. I didn't do anything that day. Like, in any of these scenarios, and I have many more of these stories. It's just these are my two favorite ones to tell because it's as simple as wearing a shirt. And not to brag, but I picked the really soft ones because again, I have texture issues, right? So they're fun to wear. Like it's a good shirt, and it speaks to people, and so they see it. And I get stopped all the time when I wear these. Um, I've got several variants I'll talk about in a minute, but anytime I'm wearing them, people stop me all the time and they're like, "Oh, I love your shirt. Oh, I love your shirt." Or they'll tell me about when their son or daughter or their child or friend or father or whatever. There's so many different variants of this, but they tell me about how their child attempted or their person died by suicide and they wish that they could have done more and that they just love what I'm doing and stuff like that. And it's all from wearing a shirt. And this is not something like people don't see it and they're like, "Oh, you must be the suicide prevention lady." But that's not it. It's they see it and they're just so happy that somebody is wearing something that is reducing the stigma and sending a positive message out in the world. So not only does it give comfort to those who are struggling, but it also gives comfort to those who have been with people who have struggled in the past or may have died by suicide. And so doing things passively like that, like wearing a shirt, like putting a sticker on a laptop or putting a pin or a button on a bag or making posts about resources for suicide prevention, all of these things are wildly powerful. And you may never know. I'm telling you stories of the ones that people have been vocal and told me about. I have no idea how many more people saw it. Maybe I was behind them or in front of them in line and they saw me wearing a shirt or they saw something on my laptop or whatever. And they went home and didn't do it, or they went home and reached out for help or whatever. I don't know. I will never know the impact of that. But that's what makes it so powerful, right? That's the magic of it. That's why I like it so much. So, um, I would love to see from you guys the different ways that you use passive suicide prevention in your life. All of my socials, TikTok, Instagram, Threads, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, I'm all there under Still You Rise Inc. At Still You Rise Inc. or some variant of it, right? Show me. I want to see. I've had somebody mail me a shirt one time that said, "I'm glad you stayed," and it had a semicolon at the end of it. I love it. I wear it all the time. I love it. I've had people use magnets and pins and things like that. There's lots of Etsy shops that sell these types of things. Show me. Show me. I want to see. I want to see all the things, and I'll turn those into posts. Like I will repurpose it so we can continue to make content that shows the world that they are safe and they are loved and they're valued on this earth, because gosh darn it, how much more of that can we use in the world? The limit does not exist. That's the answer. Okay. Now, if you don't have any of these, or you're interested in getting more or anything like that, you can order your own suicide prevention merch. Okay. Now, you can do that on any site. I'm not telling you to go to mine necessarily, but if you want an easy place to go, I've designed some myself. I've got t-shirts, sweatshirts, hoodies, there's stickers. I think there's all kinds of things, long sleeve t-shirts. I've got different messages. I think that one is stay, one is your story isn't over, which is the one that you've seen me wearing. Baddies get saddies too. That's one of my favorites. So you can check that out. It's on my website, stillyourise.com/shop, I believe. If not, just go to the main website and you'll see there's a shop or merch area. All right. Next week, we are going to start a longer discussion around myths about suicide, because let me tell you, even though people in my life, people in my close circle know what I do, I still get people who will stop me and just spread absolute horse crap. Just absolute BS. And so I don't blame them for it. I just want to educate the world on that. So if you've ever heard something like people who really want to kill themselves have done it already, or something similar to that, this next episode is going to be for you. So until then, take care, and I'll see you next time so we can continue to learn how to intervene with ease.